Welcome to the sixth Startup Grinds event. Tonight our guest will be Sonja Dakić from diapers.com. She will tell us more about her company, how she founded it, and the experience behind running the company and the business itself. Thank you. Please welcome Sonja Dakić.
Okay. I was going for the red chair, but okay.
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 So, Sonja, can you tell us a little about yourself, your upbringing and background?
Well, to start from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
As a small child. Well, first of all, I would like to thank everyone who came today to hear my story. And I think the most important thing about my entrepreneur story is that I didn't plan for it to happen. Speaking when I was a little girl, I actually was very shy and introvert child, so I didn't like to be, you know, in a lot of people talking about myself. And I actually, one of my first ideas of my dream job was to become a librarian. And I think I was 7 or 8 years old. I was learning to write, and I took all the books I had on one shelf, and I completely organized them and put them in numbers and labels and everything. And I was super happy, you know, to have this like a little space organized for me. And I think that was my first business, if I can say so. It didn't had any financial background, but I felt nice doing it, you know, doing something on my own.
Cool. So, have you had any, while you were still a child, have you had any people that inspired you to do business and to start being entrepreneur and to do the classical stuff, you know, like children basically do all the time, like lemonade stand and things like that? Has anyone at any time said to you, okay, why don't you try to earn some money by running your own little lemonade stand and things like that?
I think a lemonade stand is more like American thing.
Yeah, usually they have the lemonade stand.
I don't think we have it here. But I remember that I started working, if I can say so, really early. I was in my grammar school, maybe 12 or 13 years old, when I first helped my older sister. She had some student job, like passing on the invoices around Belgrade. So I was helping and earning some money. Yeah, it was my first official job. And during my high school, I was babysitting, and that was the way for me to actually get some cash that I needed for school or to buy something. But I didn't educate myself or plan to have a business on my own when I was growing up, actually. And I think it's part of it because we are not, our educational system does not support it or mention it in any kind of way. And we just don't think about it as a possibility, actually. My mother was working in a large company, a large printing house. And for me, from my perspective at that point of view, I think it was a normal thing to, you know, finish school and then find a job in some company, and that was the path that I saw for me.
Did at any point maybe your education and your experience during high school and university helped you realize that you are maybe going to be one day entrepreneur, do things like people are doing, starting their own business and similar stuff?
No, but we cannot blame them for everything. I think about the entrepreneurship and everything, the situation is changing in the last 5 years. So it's very new thing for us. And I think that this is the moment when we can change the educational system and support the young people that are coming. But back then it was, our parents, my parents were the people that, you know, lived the idea of working the entire life in one company. And we still have those, you know, because public sector is considered a safe job and everything. And we are now battling on two sides. On one side, they are our parents, and on the other side, are we who want something else, something, you know, better, bigger, or some new experience. So I think this is the time where we can actually make the change.
Yeah, I agree with that. Can you tell us a little more about how was it for you when you graduated and took what people in this room would tell as a traditional job?
Well, actually, when I finish high school, I took a year off, and I was thinking about college. And since the psychology at that moment was the thing that interested me, I tried to apply, and I didn't pass the exam. I didn't enter the college. And at that moment, I was given an opportunity to actually. I started my first 9-to-5 job. And that was the 1997, the year that computers was entering the stage. And my first job was to be like some sort of courier or secretary. So it was like taking calls, taking messages, and shipping letters and that kind of stuff. And somehow, when I first met with it was a Windows 97, and it was a long time ago. I saw the opportunity in it. So a year later, when I thought about should I maybe start a college or not, I was too into getting new stuff. You know, I was finishing some courses about Windows, Excel, Photoshop, and all different kind of courses. And somehow I realized that I cannot be on both chairs, and this one just felt more comfortable for me. So I stayed on that, and from that point, in the next 10 years, I continued to work in different kind of companies, different positions, like office manager, graphic designer, which was actually what I was. I finished high school for design, and I will work in small private companies, in a big public companies. And somehow I consider myself a good worker in other companies. You know, at that point, I didn't see that entrepreneurship could be a way out. I didn't see it as a possibility at all. I thought that was it for me. I can just keep changing companies and positions that I will have.
Were you satisfied when you worked at those companies with your job position, salary, and things like that? Because most people, as you said before, they enter one company and stay until their retirement.
Yes, but it was back then. I was satisfied. I was lucky to have good people that I work with. I have really nice colleagues in all of the companies, and I learn a lot, which was important for me. And I think that the fact that I was changing companies and job position every 2 or 3 years actually brought me, that good feeling that I'm developing in a way, and I'm moving forward. So it was a good thing. And I never worked for salary, because here in Serbia we have a common saying, they cannot pay me low enough. I don't know how to translate it in English.
For how much I can work?
Yes, so I never considered that. I was always giving 100% of me, no matter what my salary was, because I think that's the only way how can you achieve 100% of results. So I think if today I meet some of my colleagues, I have a very good connection with them, and I think that is the most important thing that we have to have in mind. No matter what job we are doing, we have to do it, 100%. We have to give in.
Okay. What was the key point in your life that you decided to say, okay, I'm starting my own stuff, I'm building my own business, I'm quitting with traditional jobs?
I had a baby. Zara was born 8 years ago, and she's guilty, if I can say so, in a way that I'm here today. Because the thing is, we usually, when we are young and we're thinking about becoming a parent, we have a certain picture what kind of parent we will be. Well, it doesn't apply actually. It usually doesn't end up that way. And the thing is, one of the first things that actually triggered me when I was working in a private company at that moment, and when I went on my pregnant and then later on my maternity leave, they cut my salary in half. And I was like, why? And they were like, yeah, you're staying home with the kids, so you don't need the salary. And it's a common thing here for women in Serbia. And I was like, okay, I was a graphic designer at that point. I had some freelance work, so I wasn't economically, in trouble. But my feeling, I was kind of hurt in a way, because I was really a good worker for them, and they appreciated me. So this was something that I felt, it wasn't all right from their side. And then, of course, when Zara was born and we came home, and within a few days I realized that our household garbage doubled. And since we were not normal Serbian family, like my husband and I were always taking care of not leaving too much garbage behind. We were like ecologically aware and everything. And now all of a sudden I have this extra garbage at home. And I was like, okay, let's see what's happening here, because every 5 to 6 days I'm going to the shop to buy some more diapers, and then I use them for like 2 to 3 hours, and then I throw them in the garbage. And at that moment we were living in a suburban place close to Belgrade, and you have a service that will take your garbage 2 days per week. And if you forget that it's Tuesday, then you will have your garbage for like 7 days. And for 7 days, one family can produce a really large amount of garbage. So of course, I wanted to see what it's about, and I went online. I went to Google it, and I found a few facts that quite shocked me. And the first one was that every baby leaves behind 1 ton of dirty diapers. And I was like, wow, 1 ton, it's a lot. And the second one was that that 1 ton of dirty diapers will stay there from what we know today to 100 to 500 years. And it didn't make sense to me at all. So I searched a little bit more, and I got into it completely. The other fact that I found out was that every 3rd child in Serbia has some sort of diaper rash, urinary infection, and that it's become a normal thing. You have a sensitive kid, and it's just a normal thing for it to end up in hospital, like directly within a few months. And that was the time that was the moment that I wanted to find a better solution. I knew that there has to be something else. And 8 years ago, there weren't any other solutions in Serbia available. So I searched the American and European market, and I found out that there are these cloth modern diapers, what they are called. These are washable diapers. And you have a few of them, and you just wash them in cycles, and you use them 1 package for entire diapering time with your baby. And I was like, okay, this sounds great, And I even got 1 package from my cousin from Great Britain. And I was super happy that we succeeded in, resolving this problem. It was a normal thing for me to wash diapers after my kid, just like I do my own laundry. And the problem came 6 months after, when Zara overgrew them, so we needed a bigger size. They made it in 2 sizes. And of course, I am a graphic designer. I spent most of my days at the computer, so I went again online to search for a solution. And it turns out that 8 years ago, it was very difficult to order them online. A lot of American and European companies wouldn't take our credit cards because we are from Serbia. Or if someone wanted to proceed with my credit cards, they wouldn't ship to Serbia. And it ended up like being a 2-month quest of searching the diapers for my kid, which eventually was resolved, like most problems in Serbia, through a friend of a friend of a friend who live in Croatia, that actually smuggled 1 package of diapers to Serbia for us. And that was the moment that my husband was like, come on, let's make those here in Serbia. And I was like, I don't know anything about it, I mean, I know it's a good product, but I'm a graphic designer. I can make anything in Photoshop, but I'm not, I'm not handicraft. I don't know how to make things with my hands beside the mouse and the keyboard. But the idea somehow stayed with me, because I like this idea that I can actually work on something that is important for me, and that I can make it possible for other people to have it also available.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little about when you were faced with the problem, you wanted to organize and make some kind of component business to make the disposable, to make the recyclable diapers here. Can you tell us about how everything started and how you organized the business? Because a lot of people here have a problem in starting their own business, regulations, paperwork in general, and things like that. How was it for you?
Well, somehow I knew that I couldn't do it alone. I mean, I had a baby a few months old in home with me, and I had a feeling that it's not, I'm not capable of proceeding it completely alone. So I invited my friend, my very good friend, Violetta, and at that time she had some of entrepreneurship skills. She held a little baby store in close to center of Belgrade, and she was like very enthusiastic, and she liked the idea that we can make something on our own. And she was like, okay. And I have to say, like, I'm a graphic designer, she was a medical worker, so we still are missing those, practical skills that we needed to actually make the diapers. But somehow things connected. And as before, through a friend of a friend, we found a woman that explained to us what we need, what kind of machines, what kind of materials. She made a model for us. So it actually took us a year to completely put our business on the right feet, because we invested the money we had on a side for like vacation and other stuff, and we invested it in buying the machines, buying the materials, and finding the woman that can actually sew the diapers. So after a first year, we got one diaper that was like, this is the one that can go on sale into the shop, that we can show to people and explain what we are actually doing.
At what moment did your business gain traction here in Serbia? What was the key moment in gaining the traction?
Well, I think the thing is, when you're working on something that's innovative, it's a good thing because you're the first, who's doing it, and you have some sort of empty space that you can fill in. But the problem is that nobody knows what you're doing. And the trouble with us is that when we put our diapers, in a store, mothers were coming by and they were like, "Oh, this is so cute. Are these, for decoration over the pamper, to wear it over the Pampers?" And we're like, "No, why would you buy a decoration, diaper? My God." And then you try to explain why should we wash diapers in 21st century, and you try to explain the ecological aspect, but nobody cared about it in Serbia. And then you try to go for like economical aspect because they are 2 to 3 times cheaper than disposable, and they're still like very difficult to understand. And then you go for health, and then they're like, okay, I understand that it's healthier for the babies, but I still don't want to wash them. So for the first 3 to 4 years, I think most of our investment, when we are talking about time, went into educating people and cooperating with different kind of individuals, organizations, and all kind of programs that we can actually promote and educate people why this product could be better than the one that is so widely used. And the thing that we were lucky enough that we were the first one is that we got some sort of media attention, and that was a big thing for us because we didn't have any money to invest in marketing. So being a social business is how we were recognized, and being having this innovative product was a thing for us that actually led us to some promotion and media space.
Marketing experts will probably ask why, but I'm asking it too. Why the name diedie.com?
Die means give, and it was actually because the whole business idea was inspired by babies, by my own children. It was one of the first words that my daughter actually learned how to pronounce, and we did a little bit we did a little bit of research before we actually put it to final test. We asked our friends through emails. We gave them the 3 names. They were like, okay, choose one. And at the end, Die got the best results. So we were like, okay, we will go with it. And it was interesting because we went to German market, and they were reading it like Dutch, and we were like, totally new. But it was something that you don't think about in the first place. When you think about the name, you don't think of how maybe other people will pronounce it.
What was your biggest success?
Biggest success, where for me personally is the place I think where I'm today. I didn't have this path that I have gone for the last 6 years. I didn't have it in my wildest dreams, and I think for me personally, the whole this entrepreneurship journey was the best adventure I can afford myself in life. And I think the best success is that the 2 of us were crazy enough, if I can put it that way, to go with it. After all those ups and downs, we didn't close because there were times when we were thinking, me personally, about quitting for the first 3 years. But it was the moment that when you actually you go completely down, and then something happens, like a little miracle, and you just go up. So I don't know what thing to, if that's the one thing that I would have to collect, maybe it would be getting the special award from innovation from Association of Businesswomen last year. It was, for me personally, it was the acknowledgement that a small company, a micro business in Serbia, can bring something completely new and innovative, and can make a market for it.
Can you tell us about the struggles you faced? Because most people, when starting their own companies, face the struggle, either money struggles, struggles with their team, struggles with marketing and things like that. What was your biggest struggle
Well,
in any of those areas?
The idea that when Violetta and I started was that we wanted to make one good story out of it. We wanted to make somehow a business model where everybody will be satisfied. So for us, the women that make our diapers were the most important part of our business because they made us. They brought these skills and expertise into our story, so we made it together. So we wanted to make good conditions for them, and it was the interesting thing because the first woman that came to work for us was 60 years old. She was the same age as my mother, and it was completely strange feeling, you know, to employ somebody who is the age of your mother or father, and somehow we created this special bond. For them, it was completely new experience that they are important, to have this feeling of importance and to be asked about everything, because we didn't have idea how to make certain things, and we always wanted their, you know, advices and their point of view. So somehow together we created this nice environment for everybody to fill in. Also, we wanted to have a good business that will provide a good relationship with our suppliers, and for them to be paid on time and to have some fair relationship. Of course, the two of us wanted to build a job that we could actually live on and to do it for the rest of our lives. And at the end, of course, our customers that have a high quality product that will satisfy their needs. So we wanted to make like a big circle that would function in a way. And in order to have this idea actually work, Violetta and I volunteered for the first 4 years of our work. So we didn't, in order to pay our employees on time and our suppliers, and to have this whole story continue, we didn't have any salary. So that was a big challenge because, like I said, I have been working for 10 years and I was completely financially independent during that time, of course, and I learned to be financially independent. I like to work, so it was a quite normal thing for me. And now I'm in a situation when I'm supported like by my husband. And when you don't have a support in that moment, it's very difficult to stay on that track. And for the both of us, that support meant a lot more than money. It meant that we are on the right track, and that we, you know, you just have to keep going. After all those ups and downs, you just have to keep in mind why are you doing what you're doing.
Cool. Was there any point that you said to yourself, okay, I'm having enough of this, I can't take it anymore, I want to get back to my traditional job? And why didn't you go back to your traditional job? What was the key point?
Why didn't you get the job at the marketing agency? Yes, I think I think my husband should speak about this issue. For the first 3 years, I think I had crisis every 2 to 3 months, and mostly because of the finance situation. But somehow, I'm the type of person, when I'm down, you just keep me rest for like 2 to 3 days, and then I will be back up. But what kept me on track was the feeling that I'm working on something that's valuable for me, and that is something that is aligned with my own personal values. And I wanted to prove that it is possible to make, a business that could be good for everybody. That it doesn't mean, you don't have to have someone in that chain that is hurt in a way. So for me, the idea behind this job is much bigger than the product itself. And I think that's what kept me going. And all of those little things that happen along the way, some different kind of support that we had, and cooperation with different kind of organization, I think that was for me a proof that we are really doing on something that has a value. And one more thing is that we 3 years ago we got the EcoSign label. It's a label for products, not for food, from Ministry of Ecology at that time. It's now the Ministry of Agriculture, I think. And for me, it was incredible experience because when we talk about Steve Jobs or Bill Gates and everything, and you learn that they started from a garage and now they're a multi-billionaire company, and we are still a garage business. We still have a small workshop, with 4 to 6 women employed, and we succeeded in creating a product that is the only textile product in Serbia that has this eco label, and it is the same as eco label in Europe, European eco label. So for me, it was a great experience to learn that no matter how small you think you are, you can still, make a large impact or make a big thing. So I think this is something we should have in mind.
Yeah, I agree. Can you tell us more about the lessons you learned while running your own business? What were the most important lessons that every entrepreneur should pay attention to?
I don't know if there is a unique set of advices, but I think maybe to have in mind why you started in the first place. And I'm glad to see that in the last 5 years a lot of it's going in around entrepreneurship and startup scene, and I'm glad that a lot of people are getting into it and learning about it. Some advices would be to find a support group, to have maybe just one person that will when the things get tough, that will just that will come to you and say, this too shall pass, it's a normal thing. And I think it's very important the environment you're in, to find people that care for the similar things or have similar values, and then it will be possible to actually make something out of it. Because in Serbia we are the ones that will when you have, like, you come to me and you say, oh, I have an idea about this, and most of the people will say, oh, come on, this will never happen. And this is something that we have to change. This is the mindset that we have to change, how we feel about it. And this is like, when a parent is, when you have a child, and the best thing you can do for your kid is support it no matter what. Like, I think it was Toshiba satellite laptops, their guarantee was, no matter what happened, we will change your laptop, And I think this is the point, no matter what, support it. And if it fails, it's okay. You'll learn something along the process, and then you can start again some other things or whatever.
What was it like when you started? Because most of us don't really know, but I don't think that back in 2007 or 2010 was the whole startup spirit and the business spirit developed as it is now. What was it like, and how did the community react? Did you had any experience with community, outreach to community? I know that it is easy today to have outreach to community with the events like this, but at the moment you founded your company 6 years ago, did you had any sort of things like meetups and similar things where you could actually present your product and your company?
Unfortunately not, but I'm glad that things really moved forward in these 5 to 6 years. One of the things that happened back then was British Council was organizing 3 months educational course for social entrepreneurship. And it was the complete idea of social entrepreneurship was something completely new to me. The friend actually told us, oh, you're employing this old lady that nobody wants to employ, and on the other hand, you have this innovative product, so you're a social business. And I was like, what's a social business? It wasn't a known word in Serbia 6 years ago. And then I went through these 3 months of education, and the most valuable thing I got through this program was the friends I met there. Actually, some of them today hold some NGOs or some also enterprises. And of course, the idea that actually, like we were 3 weeks ago, we were in Vienna in some meeting where we were also discussing social banking, and there was one great question there is, why cannot we make every business a social business? You know, we are registered as a limited liability company like any other, so we pay tax, we are employing people and everything, so we don't have any nothing beside the media attention. We don't have anything other than being a social enterprise. But I think the idea of it is very close to what I had in mind when I started the company. And I think the one thing that we should let go of in the beginning is the fear that we will fail or whatever. So I think that's why today is a great opportunity to have meetups, to have conferences, to have, you know, some competitions or any other. We just need to talk about it and to learn and to listen to other stories. And the more we learn, the better we will be.
If you had the possibility to rewind everything and start again now, what would you do different from back then?
Well, maybe I will do some things a little faster, but then again, since I started my business when I had a baby, somehow my business grew along with my children. I have 2 children now, and I think that gave me, from a woman perspective, that gave me a chance to have it both, you know, and it was a very important thing for me because I didn't feel I wasn't satisfying staying at home mom. It's a fine idea for me, for others who feel that way, but for me, I wanted to do something, you know, and maybe I wouldn't change a thing, but I think maybe I would invest more time in educating myself about certain things that I think I'm still missing, and now I'm working on them, because along the way you always have some new stuff, you know, popping up, and you were like, okay, I need this one, I need this one. So being an entrepreneurship, you always, you know, you adapt and learn along the way.
What advice would you give to our guests regarding starting their own company? What to do, what to expect, and what things should be prevented when starting your own company, and what they need to pay most attention to?
You cannot prevent anything.
That's true.
Yeah, I think we should let go of the fear, and we should just find. It's very important to find things that you care for, and this is the place where you should work on it, because when you find something that's really aligned with yourself, with what you value, then nothing is impossible. You can really do wonders. And I mean, like I said, I was a little girl that wanted to become a librarian, you know, very shy, and I ended up giving a TEDx talk and, you know, receiving a special award for innovation. So it's possible. I mean, it's possible for everyone. So just go with it, and it's okay if we fail, we learn and we go forward. So it's just a process.
So you would say that the biggest obstacle today is the fear of failing.
Yes, because it's in our culture. Yeah. We don't forgive it. No, we don't forget it, or we don't forgive it.
Yeah, but people say that our innate, in original, that it's our actual best trait when doing business, because we want to do it again and again. We never quit. I heard it from some Americans and investors that it's actually interesting observing our companies and investing in them because of that, because of the constant fun.
It's good to know, but I think the environment still has to change. You know, we have to be more supportive, and we have to change in a way that we should cooperate in this field, and not feel, you know, that we are on the different sides if we even working in the same field. So I think the best impact, the greatest impact is accomplished when we are all around one idea to change the mindset, cool. Especially of the young people.
Cool. I would like to invite our guests to ask Sonja any question if they have for her regarding running a business and
diapers or anything.
Yeah.
Babies.
Feel free to ask. Don't be shy. Okay, you.
Okay.
So when you said you created your prototype and you wanted
Yeah.
to sell it to the market, you faced the people that are not actually, they don't want to buy your product.
They don't know about it.
They
Yeah.
don't know anything about
Yeah.
it. They don't know that they need that product. However, you still managed to keep on
Probably, yeah.
What made you do it? Like, even though you had so many barriers, like, what was your
My
motivation
motive?
to, yeah.
I was using it. I was using it, and I was very satisfied to use it.
Use
And
yourself as an example.
yes, yes. So I believe that there are other people who want to use it. They just need to know about it. So that's why I think most of our time went to educating people about letting them know. I mean, it's easier because when you become a parent, you have so many new things, you know, in our life, and you hardly find the time to find the right information. So for our first 3 years, we sell only online, and it was an interesting thing because in Serbia, online shopping is not so, you know, widely spread, and we still managed to sell the products that nobody saw through online and through some like fairs or, you know, festivals that we actually promoted. So I think it's still, I mean, when we look at the American market, the cloth diapers are used by 10 to 15%. So it's not a product that goes for 100% of the customers, but the problem is you have to educate 100 to get your 10%, and that's expensive if you look at investing time or money. But I think what kept me going was the idea that it's something better than what we have. I mean, for yeah,
That's really great.
thank
Feel free, yes. Okay. Feel free.
Where you find materials for production of diapers in Serbia?
you. We import them. We don't have them in Serbia. Unfortunately, if we look at our diaper, only this and the elastics are made in Serbia. Everything is imported because our textile industry is completely, not completely, but very, very much down.
Okay, next.
Thank you very much. It's good to see a product from Serbia that adds value, and it's important in the economy in the modern economies that we have a product from Serbia that is different and that it adds value. And I want to ask you two questions. Since we are now in premises of a bank, what do you think regarding your path of building your company? Were there banks to help?
Yes.
And the second question is, have you heard of a brand from the United States that's owned by Jessica Alba?
But they are not washable diapers.
They're not washable.
Yeah.
Do you mainly plan to include some celebrity ambassadors?
I would love to have some celebrity that would wash diapers, but the thing is,
Maybe of Novak Djokovic.
yeah, maybe. We thought about it actually. Yeah, thank you for that. We thought about it, but the thing is, somehow washing the diapers is considered to be a shame, you know. So nobody's talking about it. Maybe we're doing, but we're not talking about it still. I hope that it will change. But to get to the first question, what I didn't talk about it, and thank you for that question. After first year of our business. We didn't make enough revenue to actually keep going, and that was the moment, like I mentioned, the British Council program, that we get in contact with the people from Erste Bank, and they recognized some crazy enthusiasm in our story, and they wanted to support us, and we actually got a bank loan from them, but it was completely off the classical bank loans that they had, you know, in an official offer, and they made a special model for us. They gave us 10,000 euros, and that helped us to continue to work, and it was something that we paid off a year ago, and it was a very important for us, support for us, so yeah.
I think that banks in Serbia should maybe think outside of the box, and for companies and cases like yours, they should reconsider their risk policies.
Yes, I think that is a place where we can all, you know, invest our time into figuring out the right model, how we can cooperate. I think that micro businesses has a lot of potential, and if you look at the family companies or anything, you can see that they have been operating for many years without the support of bank system. I think, you know, we all can see from both sides what we can do to make it more flexible and possible to have it.
Next.
Yes, we're thinking about defining our approach to startups and to freelancers, etc. We also have a question about educating new market. Believe it or not, but we as Societe Generale are in the same situation, similar situation you were when you started your business as of a year ago. Namely, we have the new product, and that's we have an e-banking platform that can read electronic signature, the only one in Serbia doing we have the only digital branch, online branch in Serbia, and it's something that customers, clients here are not used to him. So what we're doing now, we're also trying to educate people, educate the market about what it is, because they can't really try it unless they become our partners and clients. So what were your steps that you were taking to actually reach out to people and educate?
Well, first of things, we were like, we used every given chance that we had to promote. We didn't ask if it will be good for us or if we had time for it. We just went for it. And somehow along the way, we sort of profiled our buyer. So we learned that the mother that will buy cloth diapers are usually the mother that care about natural products, about breastfeeding, about baby caring. And have some, like now, if I speak to a pregnant lady for 5 minutes, and if I check, 2 to 3 things that I recognize, I'm like, okay, she will be using my diapers. And if they're not checked, then she probably will just turn their eyes, and go on the other side. So I think the important thing is to find your target group, who is the one that actually needs your service, and then go to them. For us, it was learning that the ecology is not a thing to, it's a added value, like colleague said, and the economical aspect is also not something that the customer will think about, but only the health issue. So from the second year, that was our main thing that we communicate, and it actually something that kept us alive for this long. So I think for that example, it's the important thing to find who needs your product. Is it the kid with the diaper rash, or the mother that is ecologically aware? Which one is on which side they are bigger crowd?
It's healthier to use e-banking.
Thanks.
Any more questions? Okay.
I'd like to thank you, both yourself and Mr. Stejanov, for having us all here. Very inspiring story. And a quick question, do you export your product or not your plan?
We plan to. Right now we are sending individual packets on regional, like Croatia, Bosnia, and Montenegro. We went last year to Germany because we are, for the last 2 years, we are planning to enter German market. So we went on one market in Frankfurt a year ago, and it was interesting experience for us because we learned that there are not so much need to educate your customers there because they are already aware of ecological aspects, and it was a great experience for me. For instance, we were selling stuff and we had those paper bags, and we were putting things in paper bags, and 90% of them were like, I don't want a paper bag. And then we returned the 50 paper bags to Serbia, and I was like, yay! What a great customers. And the other thing was, we were in this year in January in Nuremberg, the greatest toy and baby fair in Europe. And we went there with 2 other small companies from Serbia. We wanted to present what we do, Gugogina that makes unique clothes, and Arhiplay that makes these wooden educational toys. And we were like, oh, we're from Serbia, we're small companies, and we went, there with little kind of feeling of being small and not so important. And it was quite a big fair. It had 15 halls and everything, 200 exhibitors, and it's business to business. And what we saw and experience with people talking to us is that we are not so much behind. We usually think that they have better conditions, they are more creative and everything. And the thing is that we just learned that they are just a little bit more relaxed, if that's the right word. So that's where creativity comes from. But in making the products, they are not 10 years, ahead of us. We are there, we can compete on the same level, and it's just in our minds actually what we will take there. So people were quite satisfied to talk with us, to learn that we are the producers. So they wanted to see if we can make, products for their brand or to sell our brand on our own. And it's something that really helped me personally to change perspective. To lost this feeling of being small and left behind, And I think this is something that we also need to work on it here, to be aware that we can make good product or good service that could, like we see from IT sector, that could be applied anywhere in the world and have a value. I
Any more
hope I
questions?
answered.
Any more questions? Anyone?
Compared to, just kind of give us a short overview of the market share in Serbia. I mean,
In German, what?
German, yeah. How many?
We did
The quantities and.
for the German market. We did a little research 2 years ago, and actually we did it first for the Austria, because we had some contact there and we were planning to start up there, but it turns out they are also, like in Serbia, not aware of cloth diapers and everything, so that's why we went to Germany, because they are 10 times bigger market than we are. And we learned that they have of course they have the cloth diapers, they have their own brands, they can buy worldwide brands, and they have 5 to 10% of people actually using it, so it's still enough, I mean, for us to enter it. And we hope, since we have a cooperation with them markets here, that maybe through their network we can get a contact through Germany to enter their markets there, their shops.
Cool. Any more questions?
Finally, a woman.
What are your expectations in the next year? Where do you see yourself?
Well, I think,
Year or 5 years?
yeah, I think that will be in finding new partners in European market. I really think we have a place for our product there if we look at the price and the quality of it. And I think it will be a huge step for us, but it will be also a chance to experience something completely, out of our box than when we started. So I think it's something that we will work on for the next year or two.
Hi,
Hi.
thank you for everything. My question is, do you have any plans, or do you see any room for cooperating with public sector, with hospitals, with daycare or something?
Okay, we tried that few times, and unfortunately,
How it looks like to try to
very difficult. With the hospitals, we were very clearly informed that they are self-financed institutions, and that the producers of disposable diapers are paying them big money to be there. So we actually had situations like doctors approached us, pediatricians approached us, and they wanted to promote our product, and then we gave them leaflets and some samples, but then each hospital has its marketing sector, which I didn't know actually before, and then they got in trouble from their marketing sector, because you don't get to choose individually who will you promote or represent. So we didn't have much luck on that field, but there is one example. For instance, municipality Vračar, we made a contact with them, I think 4 years ago, and we approached them, and we showed them our product and everything, and they liked it. And since they are, a rich municipality, they were like, okay, if you can fit the same price as Pampers, we will have your diapers in the package that they give away to every newborn baby in their territory. And we were like, what's the Pampers price? And it was below our production price. And we were like, okay, we will go with it. We don't earn any money, but it's a promotional thing, and hopefully it's a cooperation that lasts like for the past 4 years. And we were hoping that it could get spread around other municipalities or cities, but we are still working on it, because public sector is a slow-moving sector, and you need a lot of time to actually, enter it and to make some sort of cooperation. But we are not giving up, because I think they're a very important part of the educating people and promoting it. So, I mean, for instance, in Austria, every parent gets a special voucher for 100 euros to buy cloth diapers, and only 1% of people use it, because they don't have a marketing campaign behind it. So I think even here, if we had some sort of vouchers where you can buy 5 to 6 diapers for it, people will still, be very reserved of why should they use it. So you have to have this educational thing, and then to promote in some kind of way.
I have another question. Did you maybe think about spreading your market on elders?
We thought about it, and we have from time to time requests for it. So far, we made I think 3 to 4 times for older children that are in a way disabled and cannot find diapers for them in the market. So we make per order for their size, and it's for us it's a project where we spend a lot of time to actually finding the right model. But I think it's from social aspect, it's very important thing, because you cannot approach a large company and ask them to make diapers for kid that has 30 to 40 kilos, because you cannot find disposable diapers for that kind of teenager. And for us, it was like more the more of a charity issue than to actually earn something on it. So for elderly, I think it could be possible, but I think if mothers don't want to wash diapers after the baby, then who will wash the diapers after elderly person, especially if they are placed in some sort of homes or other institutions.
And I have one.
Come on.
Can we
One
see
more.
your
Yes, of course. That's the reason why I brought it. Actually, this is the diapers, the dye diaper, and this is the one what we call all-in-one model. It has a waterproof material, so it's the bamboo is inside, and you can have it a look later on. It's very soft and comfy. It has an insert, and this is the diaper you use the same as disposable one. It's one size, so it grows with the baby, and you need 20 of them for one baby. So the package that you buy in the beginning will last until potty training, and if maintained correctly, can be used through 2 to 3 kids. I mean, the diapers that my daughter was using went on to our son 3 years later on, so it's very cost effective. Well, we have been selling through, if we look at our this year, now our products are available in more than 50 shops around Serbia, through AXA baby stores and through DM Druggery Markt, and we still sell more than 50% online directly to customers. So I think this is something, and this proves that we have been very active in Department of Social Network. And this is something that proves that it works for us, in promoting our own businesses, because it's still a large percentage of sales that goes through our website or Facebook page.
So most of the promotion is through the social.
Social networks and live promotions like children festivals or other conferences for pregnant women or mothers.
Cool. If there aren't any more questions, I would like you to, in the name of Startup Grind, to thank you, Sonja, for making your time, for coming here, and to invite everyone and our guests to join us in the cocktail.
Okay, thank you.